welcome back to the channel, Korea with Chandru. As promised last time, today I'm going to show you about how to supercharge your MCP server workflow using VS Code integrated with Azure DevOps. So if you're managing code, builds, or deployments, this setup can save you tons of time and keep everything seamless. So let's see how we're working with, right? So let's go on this. So as you know, right, Visual Studio Code is our lightweight, powerful editor, and Azure DevOps is more of a source control and as well as CI/CD pipelines and project management. So we have subscribed to Azure DevOps as well, and together they create a robust development environment, and particularly for complex projects. And this particular MCP server project is going to tell you like how we can work seamlessly within both VS Code and as well as Azure DevOps, and how we can save a lot of time by just typing in using the LLM from the GitHub Copilot and trying to create repositories, update the work items, and as well as link at test cases, update the test steps as well because you're linked onto the LLM here, and look at whatever possible steps you can do with Azure DevOps boards. Now let's first connect this. So what we can do is I have the VS Code open here. So I have a couple of programs written here. So one is a JSON. So what I've done is I've given the inputs as the Azure DevOps organization, which is here, Chandru Azure DevOps, and as well as the MCP server, which needs to be installed. So once you do that, you can connect to the particular DevOps organization, and then you can do all the prompts and start chatting with your Azure DevOps boards directly to create and update everything. I've also done a Copilot instructions. What I've done is I've written some kind of instructions for the Copilot so that it understands what we're trying to do with the prompts. And there are a couple of prerequisites as well which you need to install. So some of them are you need to install your Azure CLI, and you need to have your Node.js 20 plus, I think, Node.js 20 plus. And you also need to have your Azure extensions and VS Codes, which is this is actually the Azure account, Azure CLI tools, and as well as Azure DevOps. And also some of the nitty-gritty issues which I faced was that if your project is on a OneDrive and you need to pass uploads because VS Codes can't install the required libraries, that's one issue which I've been facing for a couple of hours. But after that, I passed those uploads, and then I just kind of moved to a local drive so that it works. And you also need to have both your GitHub account and your Azure DevOps account inside the VS Code, because without that, the Copilot needs this to connect properly with your DevOps organizations, or it'll keep on erroring out. And you need to have your Azure Identity plugin for Visual Studio, so which must be installed and configured, because this is essential for authentication and seamless integration as well. And finally, you need to have a personal access token, which is a part in Azure DevOps, and this is used for authentication when setting up the MCP server. I think so. Now I've kind of covered most of what is needed to get this running. So let's hop on to what we can actually do with the GitHub Copilot and see how we can create items, update items, work items in the Azure DevOps board.